I know we all kind of got our small batch select packages. That's the way we did it.
And if anybody needs 24 small batch selects, just let me know.
Pick Kenny up. Hello, and welcome everyone to episode 144 of The Mashup, the best bourbon conversation Kenny's going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Anthony, Kenny, and Steven.
Hello, gents.
Hello, sirs.
Hello, guys. Good evening. I mean, good afternoon. I mean, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes. Thank you for waking up with us.
It's so weird to get up at 5 a.m. to do a podcast.
I know, man. It's just freaking crazy.
I thought if I got up that more early, it would be like, going to like work out or do some kind of...
You come downstairs, you get bacon biscuits and bourbon.
Oh, man, this is early.
There you go. That's why you got to do it. No, it's so weird. I swear sometimes when I wake up and I'm looking most of the time when I wake up and I look at the podcast hosting service, it's just to make sure that I didn't screw anything up or that it's actually uploaded to where it needs to be. And then I see sometimes like where our listens are at. I'm like, dang, people get up early because a podcast usually posts at like, I think around 4:30 a.m. It's like 5 a.m. And if you ever see it not there, don't worry. It just means that one of us didn't have a chance to upload it, which has happened from time to time. But, yeah, it's really funny when we record and they say, good evening. So Biscuit Belly, I hope you're at Biscuit Belly while you're listening to this.
Well, good morning.
Me too, then.
Yeah, there you go. So, gents, I wanted to mention this because I'm often very jokey, a little coy, not Coy Hill, about our
155.1
about where I work, right? So I've always referred on the podcast to the local university, the esteemed university. But I do have to just say that it was a very nice, about 2 weeks ago, the university put a press release out about our podcast.
That's right.
Yeah. And so I'm not going to lie, I told them, you guys know what you're doing? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, we're pretty clean folks on this. We don't get too crazy. I said, but sometimes, we have some jokes and things that can rub people the wrong way. And I remember they were like, yeah, we're not worried about it. And so because I'm part of the Beam Institute and a Beam Fellow, and we have an upcoming event called In the Business of Bourbon in our college, they did a press release, which was a very nicely written press release about our podcast. Mm-hmm. And I was just really excited because now I can say, instead of saying the local university, esteemed university, I can just say the University of Kentucky,
So, that's where you work.
Yes.
There you go. Kenny's in the spirit. Yeah, I know. If anybody didn't figure it out, that's where I'm at. So that was pretty cool. I was really happy that they. You guys all got Kentucky on.
Both of us are in Kentucky.
Yeah, and I'm wearing.
You're in Total Wine shirt.
I'm wearing a Sazerac House New Orleans shirt. Yeah, I got my bourbon gear on tonight. So I just thought that was really cool. They even made you guys look good.
Yeah,
Sort of.
a cameo. We're in there.
Your cameo. No.
I got a lot of Keen Cars comments, but that's okay.
Come on. Keying cars.
Had a very hard nipple, so.
Yeah. So, oh my God. That's the funniest
You think
thing.
they could have photoshopped that and used the blur feature?
But here's wait. You know what the funniest thing is about bourbon people, though? There's this beautifully written press release, right? It has a photo of the three of us at the day we did the barrel pick at Four Roses.
But all my eyes.
Yeah, looking nice and everything. And because Kenny happened to have a
Cold.
A nip-on.
They call it a nip-on, but I'm calling because he's such a well-built lad and he has such a, since he's so cut, you can see the definition of his breast,
nipple.
if you will, his nipple. And the funny thing is you post this nice thing up there, and all the bourbon degenerates, especially the local Lexington people, like, oh, was it cold in there? What's going on? I'm going, how is that what they keyed in on? Come on, leave it to the bourbon folks to say dumb stuff like that.
Yeah, my wife said the same thing.
Oh my God, she did?
Yeah.
Well, why were they looking like? Honestly, when I saw the picture, what do I look at first? I look at the happiness, the smiles, the atmosphere, and everybody else is looking at a picture of a nipple.
My eyes kind of got drawn to it right away.
They did? What do you guys like? What do you guys do, man? This is crazy. Well,
I don't know.
Kenny, are you happy with your fame?
Sure.
I should see if I can get that scrubbed from the internet forever. No, but in all seriousness, that was a lot of fun.
It was a cool article.
Yeah, it was a really cool article. And so if you're joining us today because you read that article, we're happy to have you on board with us.
I wonder if they listened to any episodes before they did that article, like you said. They might be in for a surprise.
No, I told them, I said, there's times where we, talk about or make jokes and things like that. But I still think for, in the grand scheme of things, we're still pretty PG with stuff. I mean, we have our fun, but, that's all good. So, and it's not like we're saying we're the official podcast of the university or anything like that. But what other bourbon happenings are going on with you gentlemen?
I got a foaming tomorrow coming up.
What is it?
I'm doing a barrel pick tomorrow.
And what are you doing a barrel pick for?
Don't know if I should say all the way or not yet. It's going to be a first, supposedly.
A secretive barrel pick.
A first for you or first for the place?
First for this particular expression for this particular distillery. So it's going to be happening in Louisville, but it is supposed to be some very good and older aged Jim Rutledge juice. That's all I can say for right now.
Ooh, okay. Well, that sounds like a fantastic experience. And you said you're going pretty soon here tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Wow.
Yep. Me and Masak.
Oh, nice. So it's just the two of you? Anybody else?
Oh, no, there's be probably at least 4 to 6 of us going, I would say.
Anybody else we know?
Nobody you know.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, color me jealous, as always.
It'll be fun.
I like to say that. So you're getting to do another barrel pick, and Steven and I can just rest on our laurels of the barrel pick that we got to do with you at Four Roses.
It's fun.
Yeah. And
but you did Bullet. You did Woodford.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Steven wasn't traveling and working as much. He would do more as well.
That's true. He would have been on those too. Yeah, that's right. It's nice. It's nice to have you back, sir.
No, thanks.
Yeah. You don't have any more plans. Do you have to travel at all?
Not that I know of.
I didn't. Okay, good. So we didn't ask you, and now we're putting you on the spot here live on the podcast. If you would have said you were, then I was going to get angry. I was going to take the headphones off and come over there. But no, that's cool. Throw bottles, yeah. But I actually did a podcast / YouTube with Arsenic Culture recently, and we talked about barrel picking specifically. If you get a chance, you should go check that episode out. But it was kind of cool because the one guy had no experience. Matt, one co-host, had no experience of picking barrels, and then Jason and I have very limited experience. And so I think for the beginning barrel picker, it's always fun to talk about the different nuances and things that you pick up. And Kenny, you're the person I know, you and Monster are the people I know that have probably picked the most, and maybe Alves.
Definitely Alves.
Yeah, definitely Alves. Yeah, so it's kind of cool to have you guys around to talk about the different things that you experience and the different things you get to do. Live vicariously through you on those things. So nice, sir.
That's a neat time.
Yeah.
So for this week's shout-out edition, we have to go to Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you can reach out to us in different ways. We don't always have to get the reviews on Apple Podcasts to give you a shout-out. So this is actually Ryan R., and he messaged us and said, I've been working my way through your episodes over the past year. Definitely the best I've found. He said, living in NC, so North Carolina, it's hard to come by any more sought-after bourbons. How do y'all come across the majority of your bourbon that you drink and share on your podcast? Then he said he's planning a trip through Tennessee and Kentucky later this year. He asked if it was worth hitting stores or more productive to just order online. He was trying to add 5 or 6 new bottles of allocated stuff. And then he said thanks in advance. And he hashtagged NWA Bourbon Rules. So I'm not sure what that is. But Ryan, man, we appreciate that. And we got back to you. And I kind of want both of you fellas to comment here because I was the one that was communicating with Ryan.
I read it, though.
And and I wondered if you had any thoughts. So I told him that we get the bourbon from all over the place, right?
That's basically it.
And that some of these relationships and things that we have locally, it's taken us years to cultivate. And so I said, instead of trying to search in Tennessee, what's your experience has been in searching in Tennessee, both of you guys?
I have not been to Tennessee in a long time.
Okay. Well, I know you go there pretty frequently.
Yeah, but I'm just, in a very touristy area that I don't go bourbon hunting in that area.
Right. Well, I have stopped a few times in Tennessee at different stores, and my experience has always been you'll find bottles in Tennessee, but they're going to be really expensive.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be probably more than you could get them on secondary.
Yeah.
And they're going to be in mass. And so I told him that was probably not a good idea to go hit up a Tennessee unless he had other advice other than coming from us. And I said, if you make it into Kentucky, you can sometimes hit allocations dropping at certain times and get some good bottles.
You're lucky, though.
Yeah, you get lucky, but it's more common now, I think, to be able to like walk into a store and strike lightning than it was, say, 3 years ago, right? So that's times changing a little bit, but I ultimately told him if he comes through Kentucky, he needs to tell us so we can get together and have a drink.
I know one thing that used to work back in the day is you go to a couple stores and you would ask them what day like so-and-so delivery came.
Right.
And usually they would get it in the morning, and hopefully by afternoon you can go out there and they'll have it on the shelves, or at least be in the back and maybe you can ask for it.
Right. I remember those days, but I also know that a lot of the liquor store managers and personnel are kind of crotchety now.
Yeah.
So you ask them something like that, and they just look at you like, come on.
This was
man.
more like farmer, like Rite Aid and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Where
Right.
you can ask them, and you can at least know, like, on Thursdays they're going to have,
Michael used to clean up at Rite Aid.
Oh, he used to.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, I don't know. I'll say my best advice, a few different things together. If it is a Total Wine, liquor barn type of place, potentially a Kroger, it's literally right place, right time, and you're going to have to spend a lot of time getting in and out of your car, just hitting different ones and just to try to get lucky.
Yeah.
Right.
If it's the other stores, they will probably have it, but it will be way more expensive.
Right.
Than you can get in our local bourbon groups. I'm not sure where he's at, if he's involved in any of the semi-illegal, I guess you can say, because, Facebook groups that, are still legit and real. That don't exist. But definitely, I mean, you got to be careful overpaying. So if you want to message us and kind of ask, if there's certain bottles, you say you're looking to add 5 or 6 bottles, if you want to message us to let us know what you're looking for.
Tell your price range.
And then we can give you what they're going for, at least in our local groups, in case you're not in those kind of groups back in your area. And then also my last bit of advice is the whole reason why I blind is that a lot of times I find that there's a lot of bottles that are readily available that taste as good or way better than the quote unquote allocated stuff. And it's less expensive and readily available. So it depends on what you're talking about allocated to. So, I mean, you're not going to find something on the shelf sitting that's near as good as King Kentucky.
Yep.
But you got to be prepared to spend $1,300 to $1,600, for a King Kentucky, stuff like that. But so, I mean, there's some quote unquote allocated that they just stand alone by themselves. But if by your allocated, you're meaning like Rock Hill Farms, Elmer T. Lee, we got a lot better stuff for you for a lot less money that's readily available. We can give you some good advice on.
Yeah, no doubt. And that goes for anybody. I mean, I obviously, when people message us, I'm always tickled by that. I know we all are, that we get sought out for the advice. And so we extend it to everybody. If you need advice like that, we'll stay in touch with you. And definitely if you make it through Kentucky, we'd definitely want to hang out with you too, if you're up for that, right?
Yeah, and last part too, as far as getting, if you're coming through Kentucky, there's a few stores we can give you some names on that might have like some good picks. That way they just stand out a little bit different, a little bit better than the normal stuff you buy on the shelf. So if I know exactly where you're coming to, and kind of give you a couple stores to look for that'll have, stores or restaurants / bars that have some good picks that are available.
That's kind of a new thing on the scene. Last couple of years, I've been actually really handy to know. Restaurants will have like a little like cabinet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and they'll have their own picks, and you don't have to go to a liquor store. It's just right there, and you just can walk in, pick them up, and leave.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking OBC, right?
Yep.
You said that for the restaurant scene anyway. But there's a lot of good ones now. I'm sure that some of the bourbon bars we mentioned recently, too, are going to probably start doing picks. I would imagine having those there. Well, I know Ostrander already does. And I think Obstinate will probably go the same way as well.
So if it does come through Lexington, you're going to have OBC Kitchen. You're going to have Banners.
Banners. Banners.
You're going to have Paddock Bourbon Club.
Yeah, all kinds of them, man.
Jake's Cigars down in Nicholasville. Just as far as some restaurants that have some pours. And obviously Justin's House of Bourbon has a lot of good single barrel picks as well. So coming through Lexington, there's a few places we can mention.
We got them in Georgetown, too. We got Liquor Box up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We've got good old Jackson Wine Spirit. Yeah, didn't want to leave them out either. But there's a lot of stores. But
so thanks, Ryan, for contacting us. And if anyone else wants a shout out, just leave us a review on Instagram, Apple Podcast, or however. And next time we record, we'll give you a shout out. Guys, for this week,
what do we have?
We have a special bottle.
Oof.
That I think we've done a bottle from this family before.
Yes, that's correct.
Do you remember what episode this was?
I think it was episode 100.
Ooh, the 100th.
100th episode.
All right. So just a little bit later, we have a bottle of 2023 Four Roses Small Batch Limited Edition, the 135th.
Oh, yeah.
It's never going to get old. Every time I look at you and you do that, I'm like, dang it. All right, so this the small batch limited edition from Four Roses is coming from the Four Roses Distillery in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Bottle date is 2023. The ABV on this is 54%. The proof is 108. And here's where we got to do the gymnastics with the talking. So the age on this is actually a combination of 4 different distillates. So it's 40% 14-year-old OESK recipe, 35% 12-year-old OESV, and then there's 20% of the 16-year-old OESV, and then 5% of 25-year-old OBSV. You guys are killing me with that. And so as a quick reminder here, this is actually 4 different, it's not different distillates, but 4 different types or ages of distillate. And it's OESK and OESV, which is a 75% corn, 20% rye, and 5% malted barley. And OBSV is 60% corn, 35% rye, and 5% malted barley. And again, these little, it's the B and the E is the yeast strand, right? Is that right? What's signifying
E and B is going to be
the warehouse?
No,
I don't know.
It's a high rye. So B is the high rye,
okay,
35%. E is the regular rye, 20%.
Okay,
and there used to be the V and the K.
Okay,
and there's also like Q and F and O's.
And those are the yeast strands.
Yes.
Okay,
but yeah, B is 35% rye. E is 20% rye.
Yeah, I had to have Kenny help me out there. So that's the mash bills, and the MSRP on this is $200. When we did a 2022, the MSRP was $180. They've raised the MSRP of this, but most places, if you can get your hands on this, they're going to charge you. I think the cheapest I saw it, I didn't see it this year. I'll get to that in a second. I'm sad. Was $230, $225, $230 to $300. That's pretty typical around here. Do you know what the retail price was, Kenny? Like at big box stores?
I do not, because same thing. I didn't see it.
Okay.
I grabbed mine off the local pages.
Okay. Very good. So yeah, it's a pricey LE, but here we are.
This one, it had a lot of hype around it for being really good. 2019 was my favorite of the semi-recent ones.
Okay.
I forgot what Justin Sloan gave me, 2012, 2013, 2014, something, an older one that was just amazing. But as far as any kind of the semi-recent ones, 2019 is the one that stood out, and this one's supposed to be really, really good, like the 2019.
Nice. Well, in talking about the bottle, I kind of almost want to say if you've seen one Four Roses SMBLE, you've seen them all, but didn't they change the font on the front of this year? Isn't it slightly different, or am I making that up?
Give me 1 second.
All right. We got a bottle check going on here. Kenny's going to go grab a last year's or a different one so we can see that there's some small differences. I think there is here. I could be wrong.
So here's a 2016 with is that copper? Is that brown on top instead of black?
All right.
I don't know what 2019, 18 was, but 2020 is black on top.
Okay.
Just like
The
that
neck
one
tag's
is.
changing, it looks like.
Neck tag. And then is the font bigger? The Four Roses font across the top?
Yes. So here's 2020, and there's the
Oh, that's
one.
what it is.
Oh,
wow.
okay.
And then the way they have the cursive limited edition writing, I thought that was pretty standard. It's not on the
new one.
The new one. Is the new one the same bottle shape? Am I crazy? It looks like slightly bigger? No. It's the same bottle shape. It's just the little changes they made to it really stand out. They just struck me as being different. Is it the same,
looks
guys?
about the same.
Okay.
Looks the same.
Yeah. I mean, what do you like better? Do you like the new look of it or the 135 look of it, or do you like the older classic look in terms of the font and everything?
I don't know. I've always remembered that cursive on the bottom.
I know, the
It's like a
limited edition
standout thing.
cursive.
I'm glad they didn't get rid of the embossed glass rose.
Yep.
I like that. I like that feature on it.
I've said it every time. They really need to make those roses in the middle red. I wonder how much it would cost for them to do that.
Like stained glass red.
Stained glass red would be awesome. They need to do it. It would stand out so much. It would look so great.
Yeah, I mean it is where it's got the 135th up on the neck. Then you've got that 135th down low that's more of the squared now instead of the cursive down there.
Right. So it's a good looking bottle. We would all say that. I mean, for LE, even though it looks a little bit more like their other offerings, I think that Four Roses is going through a lot of transition with packaging right now, and all the changes I've seen are positive, except for actually, you know what? They haven't changed their single barrel. They're going to do something, right? Are they putting a sticker on it or something
The
like that?
leather's going away.
The leather's going away.
So it was Golden X
then
and then it was leather, and then they arch it, and that's just like a sticker or paper or something. They said, right?
Right, and their regular single barrel that's just 100 proof, they changed that to a brown label, right?
Yeah, I think that changed as well. Yeah.
So they're doing all kinds of funny little things, but they're not big changes, but they're small and they stand out. So that's actually kind of cool. I think that's the way I would want to do it if I was a brand, not to make massive changes, changing bottle shape, things like that, but changing things like font, slight color changes, things on a neck tag. I like it. I dig it. So, Steven, do you remember in episode 100 where we gave some pretty good info on the history of the small batch LE?
Why, yes, Anthony, I do.
Yeah, so at that time when we talked about it, go back and listen to episode 100 if you want, but the SMBLE, the small batch limited edition, started as a limited release back in 2008, and for the first 2 years it was actually called the Marriage Collection, where they would marry different, distillate together, and that's what it was called. And it was in 2010 when they actually changed the name to Small Batch Limited Edition. So this release always happens in the fall. It's always one of the first. Honestly, it coincides with the Bourbon Festival in Bardstown there, and every year it seems that they're doing anywhere from, I think, 2 at minimum, but usually 3 to 4 recipes that they're putting together. The one thing that I've always wondered about this, though, is we see Four Roses, guys. We just did a pick. We did a pick where we got a tier 6, 125 proof OBSK. Every year when I see the LE, it's always under 110 proof, right?
Yeah, I happen to look at all these bottles because of that.
Right.
So this is 100 and
it always seems like
and
it's
other one's
lower
110.
proof and it's barrel strength. So it kind of made me start wondering, like, what are they blending in here? Like, are they taking like
tier 1s, tier 2s?
6? They're all be tier 1s, tier 2s.
Maybe not all, but a good,
has to be, right?
decent chunk of it. Yeah, I'd say tier 1, tier 2.
And that flies in the face of what people say, right? Because people typically say they want higher tiers. At least the bourbon nerds would say they want higher tiers, but the stuff that's going into the really limited has to be lower tiers. But it's older, so I don't know if it's an oak thing or what it is.
I think they're also going potentially on this stuff to the non-bourbon nerds. They're going for that someone that wants that expensive, very limited release, but they still want it to be kind of quote unquote smooth and easy to drink.
Right.
Kind of like a premium Buffalo Trace,
Right.
product.
Well,
Obviously not George C. Stagg and WLW, but I'm talking about just, a lot of the mainstream Buffalo Trace stuff that's 90 proof, 100 proof.
right. Well, the other thing that's interesting is how many bottles did you guys say are released of this?
On the 15,060 on this. So the batch is 15,060.
And that's just for the U.S. or is that worldwide?
That would be a fax optional
Okay.
answer if I were to give you. So,
Well, I know they've been releasing a
no,
good
this is
number.
U.S., I would imagine. Well, this is 750 milliliters, so I don't know if...
It has to because the overseas ones are usually 700.
Well, they're 700, but I don't know if they also number
If they
them
count
on
them
the same,
differently.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, if they do or don't, here's what I'm wondering, right? So if you say 40% of this is 16-year-old, I always wanted them to say what proof of that 16-year-old distillate is it? But they can't really do that, right?
Oh,
because they probably have many barrels that are going in. It's not like they're taking one 16-year-old barrel. There's going to be multiple 16-year-old barrels and variations in proof. So I just wish they were able to tell me more about the tiers and the proof because that's a big deal with Four Roses drinkers. And I think it would be cool to see that it was 16-year OESV, but at all these different tiers in the warehouse, or how many barrels made up that 40%. I don't know if that exists.
What was another one that we reviewed that had a crap ton of recipes in it or marriages of different barrels?
Well, I think Buffalo Trace Antique Collection every year. Didn't we talk about the fact that we were looking at George T. Stagg that they have X amount of
Maybe
barrels
that's what
from
it was.
warehouses, this,
Yeah.
that, and another, and they all get because
It was it took forever to read.
yeah, because Stagg could have a batch of 30, 40,000 bottles, and that's a lot of barrels, and those barrels got to come from different places to create that blend. And so I want to know more about what goes into Four Roses.
No, I meant the mash bill.
Oh, the mash bill.
Didn't we have a bottle reviewed that had the mash bill was just a crap ton of different
Yes.
recipes or whatever that went into it?
Yes, we've had that with multiple bottles. So I think we reviewed OKI. There was
Yes, that's what I'm
all
thinking
different
about.
kind of distillates. Yeah,
Because they broke it down and they had a table.
Yes, I appreciated that. It was
Yeah.
a table, and it was actually, it may have even been a little bit more transparent than this. And so when you get into these blends, and I mean, I shouldn't say transparent. They're very transparent about what's going in the bottle here. But when you get into these blends where there's multiple different years and types of things that they're putting in here. I do appreciate as much detail as possible, just because I'm a nerd like that and I want more detail.
Yeah, the OKI was, number one, it tasted really good.
Yeah.
That's the bottle that got crushed at the trick or treat this year in the court.
Oh yeah,
That's the bottle that got drank the quickest.
Oh.
But the OKI was very, very, very specific with the percentage of each one as well.
right.
Oh, yeah.
So I actually nerded out on that, and I recreated that with premium barrel proof bourbons.
Like all MGP stuff.
Yes.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yes.
How about that?
It turned out phenomenal.
What was the final proof on that?
I did not hydro it though. Did not
come
hydrometer it. I need to do that. But I looked up too. This 15,060 should be the total batch.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that's U.S. and
Yeah.
I would think it would be because
Yeah.
something like this limited. I don't
and they
think
would
they're
just
gonna
put a
have-
smaller.
Okay.
They just use 700 milliliters for overseas, but it'd still be part of that 15060.
Gotcha. Well, you know what's funny? When you just mentioned that you recreated OKI, I was thinking if they were just a little bit more, you could probably take and try to recreate this using your single barrels, right? I mean, you're not going to have a 25-year-old single barrel
Right.
of OBSV, but you can do the best that you can if they give you all the information, right?
Maybe we'll see.
Maybe there is one.
So Kenny and Mr. Giggles, do you want to go ahead and nose this 135th?
Yes, sir.
I have a problem.
This is a we're all friends here. What's your problem?
I don't have any bourbon poured.
Oh, but Jesus, you don't.
You don't have any bourbon.
Well, here, let's.
You
fix
know
it.
why?
Because I'm sure you're going to blind.
I want y'all to blind me.
Oh, I knew it.
So I haven't poured anything yet like these two gentlemen did.
Okay.
So I'm going to have him blind me with the 2019 SMBLE because
right.
that's the best one I've had since the really old one. And then the 135th. And as a third little, wild card in there, I'm going to have him blind me with our liquor box OBSK pick.
All right.
So I have all three of those.
I like that. So we interrupt this nosing to now officially blind Kenny. That's so funny. I didn't even realize you didn't have it. So here we go.
Oh, nosing time.
All right. Well,
Nosing time.
our nosing is going to be a lot different than Kenny's. So I guess Steven and I can go with our
Nose.
with the nose here, and then you're going to be talking to us about all three of your noses. I guess you have three noses. So Steven and I just have the 135th, the 2023. Well, I can tell you, I'm getting a very, very strange red fruit, dark fruit on a nose. And it's very distinctly, for me, a strawberry.
A strawberry?
Strawberry. Just like that. I don't know why I said it like that. That's pretty goofy. So it's like candied, and then also, well, a little bit of tobacco as well.
If it's strawberry, it might be my far right one.
Are you getting some strawberry on the nose there?
Like where in the
far
nose
right.
are you getting strawberry?
It's deep on the inhale. It's like a little bit of a, not sour strawberry, but not like a sweet strawberry. But that's the red fruit that I'm picking out of it.
Like a Twizzlers or a Red Vine or something? Or just a fruit itself?
No,
like
it-
a
like
candy
juice?
or
It's like
juice?
okay. It's a little bit sour, then it gets like a little candied. But the thing that's weird is the candiedness is overlaid. It's almost like this is going to be really strange. But you know how you have the little leaves on top of the strawberry? Mm-hmm. The leaves on top of the strawberry are actually tobacco leaves. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting like a weird tobacco strawberry candied leafy thing. So not quite Twizzlers for me, but something candied. Steven, you just douse yourself over there?
I like we're twirling, and all of a sudden, like I flicked it up for some weird reason.
There's a little bit of a party foul, but I saw you licking your fingers,
But I
so
got
that's
my
good.
fingers,
Yeah,
so-
yeah. You still didn't get any distillate out. So,
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I guess I see where you're picking up the strawberry a little bit.
well, if you don't, I want to know what you think. Kenny said that he thinks it might be his. Would you say your far right
I was
glass?
wanting to smell the strawberry because if you're picking up a strawberry in a note, I would really like to, find it.
It's like a candied, but like not a fresh, ripe, sweet strawberry. Like a candied, little bit
Right
sour.
on the nose or the tip of it.
A little bit on the tip of the nose, but like this is okay. I'm just going to come out and say it. The thing that's most strange about this nose is there's a lot going on, but it kind of sticks together. And when I say
can't
it
pull
sticks,
it-
you
you can't,
can't
like,
pull it
isolate?
apart. Yeah, you got to like. We might need more time to isolate. I don't know that we have more time, but that's my things are. I always talk about seasoned oak too. It's a little seasoned-y. Like I think I get that seasoned-y 25-year-old.
I mean, I get a little bit of the tobacco
Yep.
I feel like chocolate's been coming in and out of my nose.
Okay. There's a little bit of leather too.
Yeah,
Leather.
around the top edge of it.
Yeah, leather's on the top edge and the top of the glass. And it's like a fresh leather. I don't know if there's any other kind, but it's not an old stale leather. It's fresh. We just took the strawberry tobacco candy and rubbed it on the saddle.
Pity the fool.
All right. Well, as we're nosing, obviously I haven't even had a sip of this yet, and that nose has really got me losing it a little bit here. But as we are nosing and Kenny's nosing 3, do you want to give any notes on your 3 glasses, or are you going to wait?
My favorite nose is my far left.
Okay.
That's my favorite nose. Far right, the reason I was thinking possibly might be the 135th is like it is a stronger strawberry on the far right nose.
If we match.
Oh, right. And it could not be right. It might be totally different. But
the longer this sits, the more leather it's getting in it.
whatever my middle glass is,
Yeah.
it's just kind of muted on the nose.
Okay.
I got the strawberry now.
Got the strawberry.
I tilted my. This is gonna sound funny. I tilted my glass.
Okay.
And my nose was coming in and out of the top.
You know what? That's actually where you get most of
Now,
it.
to be
when you
fair-
tilt.
And I was picking it up.
Yeah.
Well, here's your thing. Hang on. You all are just stay where you are and keep talking.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my little trick. I got the strawberry.
Well, that's interesting.
Like this.
Yes. And if you hold it top over, then you're only getting leather. But yes, you're right. That's how you're holding the glass.
Pour that in there.
And Kenny has us changing to Glencairns now.
Pour this in?
Midstream.
Yeah. Yeah. The little tasters that we're using here are not good for nosing at all. Just so you know.
You don't think so?
No, they're not at all.
Okay.
That's why Glencairns are Glencairns. The ones that you have are my favorite glasses to use for big events, for tastings, because they're so easy to gauge how small of a pour you want to pour, how large of a pour you want to pour. They're
Right.
also easier to wash out. But the glasses that you all have now are true nosing glasses, and you should pick up, because it swells at the very top or in the middle area, that allows that nose to build. So just give it a second, you're going to get a much better nose on this now.
This to me so far accentuated the leather, and it also accentuated the caramel notes. There's some brown sugar.
Yeah, I
caramel notes.
guess for the pod, man, I'll start giving what you notice what I've got are Glenn's.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was gonna be blinding the three. But I guess since we really do he spilled it again. But since we are really going for nose and things like that, I probably we'll just start using Glenn's for you guys as well.
And we have kind of switched in and out. We've done a little bit of both, I think, right? We've never just gone one.
These make a big
glass
difference
or the
on the. And yours is actually, Anthony, not a Glen. It's a similar glass. I forgot the name of that one. See how it's broader at the base than a Glen?
Yeah, I see that.
It's easier to clean, but it's very, very, very similar shaped.
Okay.
But the nose now should be more prominent for you all.
You know, it's funny. I think that I was getting accustomed to the other glass. Man, I'm smelling the other glass that we dumped it from, and it's all leather. Like, it's massive leather of what's left in the glass. But
Sweet leather.
Sweet leather. Sweet leather with some brown sugar. Strawberries there. But I like this. So as we were finishing nosing, and this is probably one of the longest times we've nosed on a podcast, but that's fine with me because you don't get to have Four Roses SMBLE all the time. But I will say that I feel that in the current market, when Four Roses raised the price of their single barrels to almost $100, a lot of people who are taters, I'm just going to say that, okay, even though I myself am a tater, I'm saying that with endearment, started moving away from Four Roses single barrels because they were saying, oh, they're more expensive now and they're not worth it. At barrel strength, at usually 8 to 12 years, I've always thought they've been worth it. Sure, I would really like to continue to pay $60 for them like they used to be. But now that they're $100, I feel like they've almost fallen off a little bit. And when I say fall off, I don't mean like in any significant way. People are still buying Four Roses barrel strength, and it's what you want to get. But I've just seen quite a drop of them on the secondary market. If people are trying to buy them to resell, there's no resale value to them really, only certain ones. And I think people are missing out, man, because I think Four Roses has a lot of special stuff with their single barrels, and especially the ones at cast strength. I just think people are like confused, man. I think they need to get back on that Four Roses train.
Yeah, so obviously just overall the whole market soft has been going down for a while. You know, part of it's multiple things, whether it's talking about you go to the grocery store and how much it costs for you to just buy groceries, price of gas, price of, houses, whatever, the drying up of stimulus money, crypto, where crypto fell a lot. People had a lot of extra money,
Yep.
when they didn't have it before. So there's a lot of factors into it, but Four Roses took actually one of the biggest. I mean, if you remember not too long ago, if you happen to get a tier 6 pick from anybody, not one of the special ones, just anybody.
Right.
I mean, you would get 250, 275 instantly for that.
Right.
Wow. And now they just, a lot of times they even sit at 175.
I know.
165.
Yeah.
So if people like to drink the stuff, hey, it's great news, man. It's like us. I like to drink it. I'm glad it's coming down some. Now, the part that does stink is, you are 99 to 109 at any store is the minimum price you'll pay.
Right. Absolutely.
Plus tax.
I don't think that's a bad deal.
It's still not bad,
but some people, man, I just priced them out. So
no, it did.
It's tough.
Well, let's go for our first taste.
I thought you'd never ask after that extended nosing session that we had going on there.
Did the nose change a little bit?
I think it did from the glass.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, it should be more actual pronounced.
Yeah. So I will just say that I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, sir.
I'm not the biggest Four Roses lover, I guess.
Right.
Because one thing I dislike is like that, I guess, the high spice.
Yeah, they do have some spicy stuff.
So when I'm taking a sip of this, I feel it's almost very delicate.
Right.
It's warm but very delicate, and there's not much of a spice hit, as much as normal, I would think, on the back end.
I don't think so. I think you're right. Yeah, there's not a big spice hit. To me, it's a very nice balance of seasoned oak, dark fruits, maybe even like a raspberry, strawberry, something in there. Really nice, and there's a lot of sweetness to it.
Yeah.
And then the finish goes.
Yeah.
To me, for 108, this finish goes for quite a while. And so I only took one sip so far, and I'm actually thinking that I might have to try to weasel this bottle out of Kenny's basement this morning because I'm really liking that. And now I'm starting to wonder if that's why I struck out at this on retail. So I just didn't see it this year.
No, yeah. The thing about the spiciness though, Steven, so like Four Roses low rye is still 20%.
Yeah.
That's actually high if you look at most other distilleries. So that higher rye, and then their high rye is 35%. So I mean, that's very, very high. So that extra spice potentially is there. You might not be a high rye guy, So it's just, literally everybody's palate's different on that. There's zero right or wrong on that. But it definitely can come off spicier for sure just because they just use so much more rye than your Heaven Hills and Buffalo Traces and Knob Creeks and whatever else. So.
Yeah. No, this is it's a delightful sip in my opinion. What is it? I'm just looking now. Does it actually give you the tasting notes on the back of the bottle here? It says it has complex layers. Do you want me to read this or not? Well, that's interesting. They talk about cinnamon and clove. Interesting. They did say flavors of ripe berries and pear that unfold and dissolve into long mellow finish. So I get all that. I'm there for all the berries and the mellow finish, but up front I get a little bit more seasoned oak. I don't get the spices that they're talking about, and I don't think I get cinnamon. Do you get cinnamon, buddy? Kenny's still blinded over there. So.
Yeah, I'm deep in thought. I apologize.
No, you're fine.
So yeah, that's the only bad part about me blinded right now. I can't really answer that exact question without knowing what I'm drinking. So sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if I get cinnamon. I don't know if it's just like kind of like being hidden by the rye spice, and I can't really pull it out.
If there is cinnamon, it's presenting more as like a little bit of spiciness. Mm-hmm. This actually, I think the spice hits the front of the palate, and the finish is like a long, nice berry ride.
Right.
That's what I like.
Yeah. Do you think, like you said, like in the beginning about the nosing, how it's just kind of like all together? Do you feel like the tasting is kind of that way too?
Yeah, I do think it's very layered. That's a good way to put it. When layered, meaning that it's complex and it take you a second to figure out exactly everything you're tasting. But I will say that it's nice, man. Like I can say hands down, I have a good memory for what we tasted in episode 100, which was a 2022 version.
Good job.
And I like that. Well, good job. And I like this better than a 2022 for sure. But how does it stack against everything I've ever tasted Four Roses? I'm not sure. That would be a pretty tall order for me to say that. But anyway, yeah, very good. I'm liking it a lot. I won't blind, but I actually want to have a little taste of our barrel pick side to side. Here we go, side by side, not side to side. God, the nose on our barrel pick is just delightful. Not to plug our own pick while we're talking about 135, but the nose is just a freaking great. I actually think that our nose has a better oak than the SMBLE, but hey, that's just me.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Even though the other ones have a lot of age to them, I mean, if they are lower rickhouse, lower proof, although, yeah, I mean, the oak should be there with the age on it, but it's not maybe going in and out of the oak as much at the lower temperature. So
Right.
I've got a clear third place for me over here. I ran out of whiskey,
Okay.
but I think I got my first and second.
Okay.
So third is definitely clear third place. So right now I'm leaning number 1 is first place, number 3 is second place, and one in the middle is third. My first and second place, though, I could potentially flip back and forth on, but I just don't have I'm out of juice. So
All right.
Anthony.
Yep.
Would you pass, try, or buy on the 2023 Four Roses Small Batch Limited Edition?
Actually, this is going to be a very easy one for me. This is the first year since 2017 where I did not see this anywhere. I did not have the opportunity to buy it. And it's a bottle that I typically hunt. And I kind of just said to myself, well, it's $135. I bet it's not that good, even though I saw all the online reviewers going crazy for it. And I think it lives up to the hype. I would have bought 2022, and I will definitely buy this. The only time I probably wouldn't buy one of these is if multiple people in my tasting circles said that it was a really bad year for it. But I didn't hear that about this, and I'm definitely a buy. What do you say, brother?
So how much would this be for a pour?
Probably pretty expensive.
I would think so too.
and I was going to back you up on that one thing too. These have been $4 to $4.50.
Okay.
So are you a buy at $4 to $4.50? Because like you said, you did not see it
that's the
at the
problem.
store, and
Yeah.
no one else out there, especially right now since they released months ago.
Right.
So at $4 to $4.50, are you a buy?
Man, you had to bring that up, and that's tough for me.
That's just
and,
like, do you
Yeah.
blindly like it, or are you going to put the money where the mouth is?
I'm not sure. I would have to think about that a little bit more, and I probably would want a little bit more time to try other things because I think 450 might be pushing a little bit.
Yeah.
But I really still enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Thanks for throwing that in there and
Hey,
breaking up
just
my
wondered.
love fest.
So Stephen, a pour, which we should be able to, I mean, local bars should potentially have it, but I would say probably 40 for an ounce and a half of it. I'd say $40 for an ounce and a half.
About 400 for the bottle.
Yeah.
450.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because I mean, there were $2.25 at most stores around here if
Right.
you got one. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very small release.
I would guess too that man, it's so weird. 220, 240. So actually, in this case, I know that some of the other groups that we're into will post links for them when you can buy them overseas, and they were still pretty expensive. I think they were like $300 to $350 if you could get them. Yeah,
Yeah.
the shipping.
Well, I think I liked it. I think I maybe buy on it, which is not what I said on the other bottle that we did.
Oh.
I think I was a try on that one.
You were, and I think Michael was a pass if I'm reminded correctly.
Yeah.
Well, man, for the ones I've had, seriously, 2019 and then this one, I liked. I did not like 2020, 2021, or 2022.
Really?
Just didn't care for them.
Okay.
I even think $40 is probably not bad for this pour. It's pretty good drink. So I would think if you're at a nice dinner,
That's my guess is 40 to 45
Yeah.
for an ounce and a half.
yeah.
I think that if you're willing to treat yourself, then you would be, okay with that. I could see that. I mean, I told you I remember that story at New Year's when I got my King Kentucky pour for $45.
No doubt.
I was cheering. That was almost 2 ounces.
So Kenny's Corner.
Kenny's Corner.
All right.
Some say the blind lead the blind, but on the mashup, you never know. No, just kidding.
So I must just say my first place is number 1, far left. Second place is far right. And then third place is the one in the middle.
All right.
Stephen, will you do the honors,
That
sir?
is very interesting. All right. So for the one in the middle
The one in the middle,
is the previous Four Roses Small Batch,
the 2019.
2019.
You got 2019's in the middle. All right.
That makes your winner our barrel pick.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So our winner there. And then
That is
That's
the
that one.
135.
okay.
35 second.
Boom.
How about that?
Yeah.
So now I got to put you on the spot immediately.
I was going to ask the same. I'm going to ask the
Yeah.
same question.
Now, and this is only because I feel that I know you well enough now to know that you do like proof.
Yes.
And so our barrel pick, just to remind everybody that we did for Liquor Box, is 125 proof. Both the SMBLEs are, I think, 109 maybe and 108. And
108 and then 112.
Oh, so 112 and 108. So do you think this is a proof thing? Do you think it's a straight up thing? Give me your assessment. Like if we proofed the barrel pick down to 108, would you like it as much, you think?
So I did put that my second place and my third place both were complex with layers.
Right.
So if I were to have guessed, I would have guessed this was our barrel pick, but I would have guessed these two were flipped.
Right.
Now,
but during that thing when we were talking, I kept saying strawberry. You said if your nose is the same, you were picking it right then.
Yeah, you had it. Yeah,
you were nailing it.
But I still would have guessed flipped. But this 135th has been open since November, and this 2019 SMBLE has been open for probably 2.5 years, 3 years.
Oh, more error.
It might have got a little bit flatter, but I did put both of those two were way more complex with layers for sure. So I don't think this is a proof thing as much because this hit is to me this hit. It's darker, danker. I put sweet, but also sweet and spicy both.
Yeah.
So, and that's, I guess, more of that OBSK coming out, whereas that bolder spice.
Spicy long fish.
So I don't know if the proof is as much as a thing as being more of the having just all OBSK with that high spice, high rye.
Gotcha.
Wow. The bottle came through.
Ooh.
I'm going to pour a little bit more of the 135th now that I know what it is.
Right. Okay. And then while you're doing that, are you also going to grace us with your thoughts on the pass, try, or buy for the 135th at least? And then
that's what I'm going to take one more sip now that it is.
All right, gotcha. Yep. And I was going to say, you're definitely going to buy on a barrel pick. We know that. Steven, I got him. He almost spit out his drink there.
Yeah, you're not Liquor Box should have bought from Kenny.
Yeah,
not the other way around.
I did have a few.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I still think they got a couple up there, and price.
Are they doing well?
Quickly.
Do you know?
Yeah, they're selling well.
Good.
What they're doing is, if I owned a liquor store, I'd do the same thing.
Yep.
It's $160 packaged with a $50 to $60, depending on where you shop, small batch limited edition
select.
Small batch select.
Yeah.
So it really equals out to being a $110 bottle. It's just $10 more than the distillery. But a lot of people look at, $160. If they don't need a small batch at the time, it's like, it's more money.
Yeah.
But I'd do the same thing if I were them.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, the liquor stores all got the same issues, right? It's they want to move product in volume. If they were only able to sell allocated stuff all the time, that would be a bad business model, right? You need regular people buying beer, buying, your Evan Williams white label, all kinds of stuff, buying small batch select. You could get small batch select with it, or you could get the regular yellow label plus a regular small batch, and the bottle, which is about the same difference too. So yeah, but I know we all kind of got our small batch select packages. That's the way we did it.
And if anybody needs 24 small batch selects, just let me know.
Kenny up.
Oh, man.
All right, so I went back in for this last little sippy sip. All right, so I'm going to be a try on this. It's we did use this for our best of 2023.
Right.
And I don't have that exact picture in front of me with everything, but
it didn't do well.
It did not do well
and it doesn't do well historically, right?
So I only have picture number 1 through 22. So this finished 23rd through 39th, somewhere through there.
I think it
in
was
our
in the
best
mid
of 2023.
I think it was low mid 30s.
So based on when we all double blinded it, and then based on tonight with me single blinding it, I would still be a try, but I can't be a buy when it finished second place to a bottle that's $110.
Yeah. Well,
personally,
I didn't have that same experience that you did. So
do you think doing your little blind here might have tainted your view on the
No, because it didn't score well in the best of 2023 blinds when it was double blind.
Yeah.
So and like I said, it's I'm definitely a try though. I'm a solid try. And I'm a solid try.
Right.
Because, the thing is, it is built with more layers and complexity than our single barrel pick. I haven't put down there definitely complex,
Right.
layers on both of those too. So when they were blending those, they were trying to give you that multiple layered long finish.
Right.
And it's definitely it drinks with low ethanol. So I think a lot of people might really enjoy it. So I would give it a try.
Well, and there you have it. Now you've made me question what I'm going to do as well. But Steven, you and I were buys, right?
We were.
Uh-oh. Are you changing your opinion now based on what Kenny just said?
And you're buy at 400 or buy at retail?
Buy it retail for me.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I know that's almost like a fool's gold type of thing. But,
Yeah.
I think at retail is good.
Yeah, I think my upper limit on this is if tomorrow somebody messages the podcast, and please do, and said they had it for like $280, I would probably buy it. That's my upper limit.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
But $450 is going to be a little rich based on what you're saying right now, and I'm definitely going to figure out a way to stooge an ounce or two out of here and do my own double blind.
Good luck.
Sounds like fight words.
And with that, thanks for listening to this week's edition. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY.
Don't forget to visit our partner, bourbonoutfitter.com. Enter code The Mashup for a special discount.
Also, let us know your thoughts on this bottle in the comment section. Until next time, keep it neat.